Hey everyone, Kevin Muldoon here. I've got my HTC U11 here, the amazing silver version. That's what they call it. There's 5 different colours. There's blue and there's a black, there's a red, and I can't remember what the other colours. But I chose the amazing silver because, well, there was only 3 colours. There was black, blue or silver. And this was the one that I thought looked the best. It's not something that I was overly, thinking about what colour should I get, because I'm planning on putting this in a case. The case will probably be black, so it's not a problem. Now, I've had this phone for 5 days now, and I've been using it every day. I've transferred everything over from my Google Nexus 6P, and this isn't a complete review. I've not been using it a long time, but in this video, what I'd like to do is just give you my thoughts of how this phone has performed over the last few days and give you my first impressions. And again, I do stress this is a first impressions video because I do feel that there's a lot of things that you don't notice in a new phone till a few weeks in, other things you don't notice till a few months in. But I've been using it 5 days and I do have, a fairly good impression of what it can do, what it can't do. Overall, I'm very pleased. Now, as I said, first impressions, it's easy to be pleased when you've got a fancy new object in your hand, and you can see how reflective that is. But overall, I am pleased. First thing I would say, coming from the Nexus 6P, it's a little bit lighter and it's a little bit smaller. And the back looks great, but is an absolute fingerprint magnet. You can maybe see that on the screen. So from a design point of view, it's actually, a lot of people may be coming to this phone and go, well, it's quite big, but for me, I'm coming down from the Nexus 6P and it's a little bit thinner as well, I believe it is. So I'm coming from the Nexus 6P, so it's a little bit lighter, a little bit thinner, and a little bit shorter. So for me, right now, this phone actually feels small. Now, I've actually noticed, because people talked about the bezels in this phone, but you can see in the Nexus 6P there was bezels as well. The buttons are actually here in the bottom part, in the bezels. That wasn't the case in the 6P. In the 6P, the buttons were actually on the software, they're on the screen, whereas here they're down here. So obviously this is because I'm coming from another phone. It's different, but I'm so used to reaching up to this part of the phone to push the home screen. I find myself, I keep coming up here to push home instead of down here. I find these buttons are quite low. I'm hoping, and I suspect in a few weeks, maybe in a month or so, I'm going to get used to that. But I do find this is the same on the Samsung S8, and I suspect I will get better at it. But at the moment, I feel that my fingers are kind of gravitating a little bit higher than they should. But again, that's because I'm coming from this phone. This thing is slippy. Really, really slippy. I've been using it with the provided case. I don't know what keeps coming up. Clear all. I've been using it with the provided case, and it helps a little bit. Doesn't give you great protection. The sides aren't covered, but makes it a little bit less slippy. But I still feel this is slippy. With my Google Nexus 6P, I used the Spigen case, and this thing I feel is much grippier. It feels a lot better in the hand. I'm used to having a good grip, and this it feels a little bit more fragile and a little bit more prone that I could drop it because it's slippy. The other thing is, this doesn't have an edge display. My friend's got the S6 Edge, and I have seen the edge display on the Samsung S8 and S7 in shops. Whilst it doesn't have an edge display, it does kind of go round. It's like a little smooth, the way it goes round the side. But the screen stops there, but it is smooth all the way along. It's really nice how they've got it. Now, I believe that, in fact, I'll check. Call Me Number 8. So the YouTuber Call Me Number 8 asked about how this phone fits in the pocket. And from putting this in the pocket, obviously I'm coming from this, putting this in the pocket of my jeans. It's much smaller, much lighter. The Google Nexus 6P, takes up a lot more room in my pocket. Now, the question he asked was more to do with the adapter. When you use the provided earphones, they just go in your pocket just like normal, like that. When you use the adapter, you need to put in an adapter like this, and then you would have to connect like that. Now I found that the adapter kind of hangs out the pocket a little bit, but if you weren't using it, what you could do is just leave the cable connected to your headphones or just separate the cable. So for me, I don't think you're going to get any problems with that. Now, you know, as you should know by now, this doesn't have a headphone jack, which is why they provide this headphone adapter. And it seems to work quite well. I actually found I've got like an external microphone that I've used in the past for live streams. It's quite a cool little microphone I've got from Shure. And this actually needs an adapter. So to use this with this phone, I need to use 3.5 millimeter, the regular headphone jack. Then I need to convert it using this Rode accessory. And then I need to connect it using this. And I didn't think it was going to work, but it does. It does work. It's a little bit of a monstrosity when you see it, you know, 2 adapters, but it does work. So I was pleased about that. As far as actually using an external mic though, I think there's less need for me to do it because the microphones on this are pretty good. So the jump in quality from the default mic are, you know, it was a lot bigger from the Nexus 6P to that mic than it is from this phone to that mic. The button placement is still mixing me up sometimes because in the Nexus 6P I had the power at the top and volume at the bottom, and here we've got power at the bottom and volume at the top. So, you know, after using this for a year and a half, I'm sure you can understand why I keep, you know, making a mistake there. But again, I just need to get, it's the same issue with the buttons down the bottom. I just need to get used to it. So there's no problems there. Overall, very pleased. As far as the camera, I've done some video tests over the last few days. As you know, you can check my channel. I've did some video tests and some microphone tests during the daytime and at night. Videos seems quite good. The back camera is really good. The app itself, the camera app, again, I did a video about this. There's a lot of cool options in here. Selfie, panorama. There's a pro mode, panorama mode. So there's a lot of things here to keep people happy. I'm fairly happy with the app and how it works. Now, I did note this in the other video that when you record with the back camera, I'll show you this just now. See, there's a 6-minute limit. So there's a 6-minute limit when you record in 4K. I haven't read anything official about this, about what's happening, but I suspect it is because the phone could overheat. See, I bought some cheap soup the other day and I thought it was funny because it was such a fancy name. This is, so that I'll just show you some photos. This is a photo I took of my TV, which hasn't been working. So I think the capacitors have went on it. So I need to decide whether to fix it or buy a new TV. And I took some pictures of the actual TV when I opened it up. I haven't taken a huge amount of photos on it yet, if I'm honest. I've been working at home all week, so I've not really had a chance. Plus, it's been raining a lot. That's all going to change. I'm going away in a week for 4 days to Paris, and I'll be taking photos all the time. So I'll really get a chance to, you know, explore how good this camera is. But first impressions are that the photos I've been taking are very good. I'm very pleased with it. As far as usability goes, in fact, before I move on to usability, let's cover these earphones, seeing as I've talked about the accessory here. These are the what are they calling it? Boom sound earphones. Now, these go through the USB port. From a performance point of view, these earphones are very good. Very good. I'm very impressed with them. From a comfort point of view, I really don't like them. they just feel horrible in my ears. I don't know what it is. Now, I think earphones are quite quite a personal thing. Someone who loves this style of earphones might not like those, and vice versa. For me, I feel that these are really good headphones. The microphone seems quite good on them as well. And it works for, answering calls, pausing music and things like that. It does drain the battery because this has a digital audio converter, a DAC, built into it. So it does drain the battery a little bit more. The phone's mics for calls are very, very good as well. I've not had any problems with them, and I don't think anyone else would have a problem with them either. From a usability point of view, I'm very, very happy with it. I'm not going to bore you guys with with speed tests, you know, there's a lot of, you can download all these benchmarking applications and things like that that will help you test whether, you know, the performance of the phone. There's lots of tests out there already. It's a Snapdragon 835 and it's got 4 gigabytes of RAM. So it does have a similar performance to other phones that have those, you know, specifications, that have those chips inside them. I don't want to bore you guys with it because for me, it's not, I think the numbers can be played around a lot. You know, we've seen that they've been manipulated in the past by companies. And for me, it's all about usability. Now, generally speaking, I've found that, you know, going around, I found the HTC U11 to be a little bit quicker. Not a huge amount, but enough that I noticed it being quicker. If I try and get, let me see. Okay, so say Mario Run. We'll try this. So you can see it just comes up just that little bit quicker. So if you're a gamer, you might notice things like that. There we go, that's loaded. This one's a little bit slower. I'll get the brightness up now. The brightness is actually, I've actually got it in the power mode. We'll see if I've got another game I can show you. I don't play games as much as I used to. Right, there's Kingdom Rush. That's a classic. Where are we? Right. I'll start that again. I'll start that again because I wasn't quick enough there. Right. Oh, that already loaded, so that's a bad test. I'm not good at this, am I? This is why I'm not doing speed tests. Right, third time lucky. See if I can do this eventually. Kingdom Rush, right, are we ready? Nah, I wasn't very quick at that. You should be able to see it. There's not a huge difference there anyway. Now, with regards to the way I was navigating there, the Google Nexus 6P had the fingerprint reader on the back. I loved that. I really did love that. But to get the home button, you have to go in there, and that means sliding it up. And think, you know, sometimes to get the home button, you know, if you're in a game like that, the home button disappears, so you need to kind of scroll up and then push it down. The fingerprint reader here is on the button, you know, just like, you know, an iPhone, and it works really good, really well. It's really good. It's very responsive. Sometimes I do find myself put my finger there as if, you know, for the back, but you can see you can load up Google there by doing that. It's very good. I find it's really good, and it is good sometimes, you know, as I said, if in Mario there, for example, I don't need to scroll up. I just push that and it goes back to the home. You don't even have to put a lot of pressure there. You know, just if I go there, it just goes back. It's really sensitive. So that's really pleasing. It works really well. From a usability point of view, I'm really happy with it because, you know, I'm coming from a stock experience, Android with no bloatware. There's a few things on here that I don't want. For example, this News Republic, you can't uninstall it, which is annoying. There's a few things like the themes, you know, things that I don't need, but there's a few things that are useful. They've got a boost thing, you know, if you want to boost the RAM and things like that. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure how effective that is. And generally speaking, there isn't too many things that they throw that you can't remove. When you actually like set it up, there's a few options like asking you to download Candy Crush and all these things, but you just select no. Apart from that, I'm really happy with it. I'm not a big fan of blink feed and things like that. I just don't use them. But you'll see that you can add blink feed there to the left hand side, and you can add your widgets. But if you add blink feed, so I've added blink feed to there, the left hand side. But if I can get it here, I can just hold it here and remove it, and it's gone. So very easy to remove. You don't have to go in and, you know, disable anything. Works really well. Now I want to talk about some things that I really do love. I went from the HTC M8 to the Google Nexus 6P. So I went HTC to Google, back to HTC. The HTC M8 was a great phone. I really did love it. And there was a few things that I loved about it. I think that tap feature sometimes here. If anyone who had the M8 will remember that was one of the biggest features where you double tap and it loads up the page. But the other thing that I really loved about this was the power mode. So if you go into battery, you'll see their power saver. So you can see the screen gets a little bit brighter when I take the power saver off. I've been leaving power saver on. Get rid of all these notifications. Should really be clearing all. I've been leaving power saver on just to save battery life because this has a 3000 milliamp battery, which is less than this. And I was scared about that, it wouldn't last long. But with power saver enabled, which doesn't stop me from using the phone, it's actually quite good. Now, in addition to power saver, they've got extreme saver and extreme power saver. When I had the HTC M8, I used this all the time. So what it does is, if I turn it on, it basically just allows text messages and phone calls. It's got a calendar and things like that there. I believe you can change this and change what's displayed here. But this really, really saves battery life because it stops checking for notifications for WhatsApp and all these kind of things. It really saves your battery life. So if I'm out all day long and I've got this in my pocket, I would sometimes turn on extreme power saver mode, and it really does help with battery life. So this is built directly into the phone, and it's a feature that I love, absolutely love it. So whilst I was disappointed this only has a 3000 milliamp battery, with, if you use power saver mode and use extreme power save mode when necessary, then I don't think it's a problem. Now, with regard to the Edge Sense, this is one of the biggest features of the phone, is that you have this Edge Sense where you hold it in. Oh, in fact, I've got it disabled just now. That is a cool feature. Right, so turn on. Why is that not turning on? See that? I've not had that happening yet. That's bad. So for whatever reason, Edge Sense isn't turning. Oh, it's okay. It's on now. Right. I really need to disable notifications for a lot of apps here. Edge Sense works by you squeeze the side, opens the camera, and it will default to video or photo, whatever you were using before, and then you can take a picture. Now, someone asked whether, it's easy to do this by accident, but I don't think it is. It's, if you're holding the phone even like this, you don't really push it. It's only when you really hold it in that it does it. The only time I've done it by accident is when you put your phone in a tripod or a selfie stick like this. See, if you hold it here, you'll put pressure there, see it? And you can see that I'm putting pressure there. But thankfully, this isn't an issue because, as you saw before, in the notification tray, there is an option here. Push it once and it's disabled. So when I'm going to be using my phone with a tripod or with a selfie stick, I'll just disable Edge Sense so that I don't have to worry about the phone being displayed there. So it's quite cool. I like that they've built that in. There's a cool night mode. I thought that was quite cool as well. If you're using this in bed at night, you can use night mode, and it just turns it down. It gives it a kind of yellowy tint, just so that it's not be there till tomorrow morning. It just doesn't hurt your eyes as much if you're using it at night time. Airplane mode, all the rest of it is par for the course. You can see some of the other options here as well. The earphones actually have active noise cancellation. You can actually set that up. When you're playing music, I'll get some copyright-free music for you guys if I can find some. Okay, see what we can find here. So, let me see. You can't do this without getting an advertisement.
Download the Amazon app today.
So when you're playing music through the phone, if you bring it up, you see that says switch to theatre mode. And it kind of changes the way it's like, it changes the equalizer. For some things I've found that music mode is better. For other things I've found the theatre mode sounds better. So just switch it to whatever one you think is best. Now, as far as where the speakers are, one's there. the ones down here. The main ones here, you can see that it pretty much goes away. And if I hold there, it's nearly all gone. And I'm not sure if there's any, anywhere else. But the main one is here. That's where the most of it is coming out. So if you're listening to music and you're holding your phone like this, you're putting your hand over it, you will notice in it. This is something I have done a few times. I have actually put my finger over it by accident and then I've let go and the volume's just jumped up. Now, to kind of backtrack a second and go back to battery, because this is something I didn't speak about before. Now, if I put on Ampere, this Anchor Type-C cable is plugged into the plug that I got with my Google Nexus 6P. Now, with my Google Nexus 6P, I generally got, in fact, I'll show you exactly what I got with this cable. So this is an Anchor Type-C cable that I bought recently because my other cable died, and I'm using it with the official Google Nexus charger. And you should see soon. Okay, get 1090. And normally, I normally get to around 1350 or something like that through this plug. But it depends whether you've got a low charge or a high charge. It's, it sends less current when your phone has got a better charge on it. So we're getting about 1090 there. Plugging this cable directly into the HTC U11. Let's see what we get here. Now, Ampere isn't the most accurate in the world, but it's a good rough guide. So I'm getting about 1990, 2020 now. It's going up, so that's higher than I had earlier on, actually, when I tested this. So we're getting around the 2000 milliamp mark. So what we'll do now is use the official cable. So this is a Type A to Type C cable. And I thought they would put in a normal Type C to Type C, but they put in a Type A cable. It's Quick Charge 3. It's not Quick Charge 4, which is newer and apparently faster. But I have found that the speeds on this are pretty good. They're better than what I get with the regular Type-C cable. And you can see here it's up to 2590. So the charging experience is better than with my Google Nexus 6P. It charges quicker. So that's a good thing. Now, this doesn't have wireless charging. That is a feature I would have liked. But at the same time, I've never had it. I've never had wireless charging in a phone. So I don't have any wireless charging bases lying around. It wasn't something that was a deal breaker for me, but it would have been a nice feature. It would have been nice to have that. But unfortunately, it's not there. It's not a deal breaker for me because I'm used to just using the cable directly, but it would have been good to just sit the phone down and charge it. What it does have, though, is waterproofing. It's IP67, I believe, so it's like dustproof and waterproof up to 1 meter. It's not the best waterproofing, but it's good for what I need. For example, I was running the other day and it was raining and I had this in my pocket, so it does get a little bit wet in the pocket, but I don't have to worry about it because it's got good waterproofing. It doesn't look like it's going to scratch easy either, but I don't know. I'm going to put it in a case. I still need to debate whether I put on a screen protector. I don't know if it's necessary, if I put on tempered glass, whatever. I'm not sure if that is necessary. So first impressions. I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with the phone. That's because it does what I was looking for. I think the biggest concern for me taking on this phone was the 3000 milliamp battery, which was smaller than what I'd like, and the lack of a headphone jack. Now, I don't like the provided headphones, if I'm honest. I think from a sound perspective, as far as listening to music, these things are excellent and better than any other wired headphones that I have. But I don't find them the most comfortable. The provided adapter means it's not a huge issue. It's not a huge issue. Plus, I do have wireless headphones as well. So, you know, if you buy this phone, you might need to buy an extra pair of headphones or buy wireless ones. It didn't turn out to be a deal breaker. And, you know, the other thing I was worried about was using an external microphone. But, you know, adapter to adapter, it does still seem to work. But the thing is, external microphone is less of an issue for me because the built-in microphones are really good. And, you know, as I said, battery life is one issue. The headphone jack, battery life isn't too bad. As I said, you can use the power saver mode all the time, which I do. You can use extreme power saver mode when necessary. It is quicker at charging as well. So if you do get somewhere to charge, you'll charge this phone up much quicker. But the other thing was video. Now, you know, I've not done a video yet where I've showed you lots of photos I've taken. And that's because primarily one of the biggest things for me was the quality of video. And I'm really happy with the quality of video. I think the front sensor is really good for a smartphone camera. I think the back sensor seems really good. Low light performance, I found that at night time, the front camera struggles a little bit, but the back camera seems pretty good. Again, we are talking about a smartphone here. So you need to, you know, take these into perspective. Now, the reason that this is important to me is obviously I'm a YouTuber. I upload videos to YouTube. In addition to the camera that I'm recording with just now, which you can see there, the Panasonic G6. There you are. In addition to that, the other camera that I use is a Sony RX100 Mark III. Now, this is a great camera. It's really portable, really versatile. Doesn't have an external microphone port though, so in some respects, this smartphone is more versatile because I can hook up an external microphone to this. I can't do it with that. I'd say the mics on this depends on the situation. Some situations I think the mics are better than this, but I was really pleased with the high-res audio. It was really clear. So, as I said, I bought this for video. I'm going to a conference next week, and normally what I would do is take this and record lots of videos with it. But I'm swaying towards not doing that, taking this phone, taking a power bank in the back, and just using the phone for videos, for all the videos that I'm going to take, and just using the phone. And I really love the idea of having a simplified solution like that, having everything in one device. You know, there's no need for me to have 4 cameras in that. You know, I'd rather just have everything under one device, and that device should be the device that's always in your pocket, which is your smartphone. So I'm happy with the video. I'm happy with the quality of the microphone. Speakers are pretty good in them, really good. You know, as good as they are, I don't think they're a huge jump over what I had before. It's not like I listened to them and went, "Oof, you know, those are so much better." But I think that's more testament to the fact that the speakers in the Google Nexus 6P were actually quite good. You know, I've read some people saying that battery life using these headphones, if you use it for like an hour or so, can put like 15 or 20% off your battery. But I went for a run. I ran for 30 minutes and I used these headphones because I wanted to try them out. And the battery life only dropped probably around 3-4%. So I'm not sure how reliable those reviews are, but I've not seen... It does drain the battery quicker than using regular headphones, but not to the extent that some reviews are making out. That's my experience so far anyway. Perhaps because I was using the power saver mode, I'm not sure. But again, I'd maybe prefer to buy different USB Type-C headphones because, don't like them. Yeah, usability, very, very happy. So again, I have only been using this for 5 days. I've been using it a lot. And I probably use my phone too much now because I've got, you know, pretty much everything as far as, you know, I work online, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a blogger, so I'm always getting notifications from Twitter and Facebook and YouTube comments as well. You know, I love interacting with you guys and responding to your comments, except the trolls. You can go and... but yeah, I'm really happy with it. It works really well. Now, as far as what, you know, whether someone else should buy this, you know, I'm not trying to influence anyone in any way. I think the Samsung S8 is a fantastic alternative to this. And, you know, the HTC are making a big deal about this having the DxO mobile score of 90, but the Samsung S8 got a score of like 88 or 89 or something. So there's not a huge amount of difference really. I've looked at pictures and videos between them, and I can't see a massive difference in quality. So for the S8 has the headphone jack, it's got wireless charging, and it's got some other things. So in many respects, the S8 beats this. The problem is, you know, I looked at the Samsung S8, and I really can't get by the bloatware. Samsung adds so much crap to their phones that it's a real pain, and then you need to go on this whole process to try and disable it all. All that bloatware means that battery life goes down, means that your storage is being used up with apps you don't even want, and I don't want to encourage that, quite frankly. But seriously, you know, the Samsung S8, if for any reason you need a headphone jack, I would maybe, you know, go towards the S8. The OnePlus 5 is being announced on, I believe, June the 20th, so that's something to stay tuned for as well. But as far as having, you know, the best Android phone at the moment, I would probably put the HTC U11 and the Samsung S8 ahead of the Google Pixel, because, you know, the Google Pixel's using last year's technology. Things will change very quickly in this world, and, you know, when the iPhone 8 or whatever comes out, when the next Google Pixel phone comes out, this might get relegated to second place, third place. But at the moment, I think that this is one of, if not the best Android phone at the moment, or perhaps just the best phone, period. It's not perfect. You do need to make some sacrifices with this phone. As I said, no headphone jack, no wireless charging, doesn't have the best waterproofing compared to the Samsung S8 and things like that. And but I think they've got it right in the right areas. You know, the experience is good. There's pretty much next to no bloatware, really. You know, there's a few apps here, not like 2 or 3 apps that you can't remove, but it's not a pain. You saw one there, like HTC Sense Companion and all that kind of thing. I'm not interested in that. I'm coming from stock, and I like the stock experience. Yeah, overall, very, very happy with it. It's quick, it's fast, and really, what you're paying the extra money for this is, well, one, the sexiness, but really, the camera. The camera is what sets this apart from the competition, and what sets this apart from a $200 mid-range phone. You know, there's some really good bargains in the mid-range area as far as, you know, Motorola phones, Chinese phones even, you know, with good battery life. The Lenovo P2, all these phones have got really good battery life. But this isn't terrible. It's actually better than I thought. So those are my first impressions, and without a doubt, I have missed out a lot of important things. I've probably missed out on a lot of things that you probably wanted to ask about. So if I've not covered it in this video, I do apologise. But please do ask a comment below. I will do my best to answer them. I'm not an HTC guru or anything like that, but I will give you my honest opinion on, you know, what I think of this, how it works, and, you know, if you've got a question, just ask me. I'll do my best to answer it. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. And till next time, take care.